Welcome back to That's What They Said, an educationally conversational podcast where we address all the things that aren't in the college brochure.
Oh, hey guys!
We're back!
We're so back. And guys, we just found out that the point of wearing these headphones is so you can hear your own voice. We were just wearing them and didn't plug them in or something, so we couldn't hear anything last time. So if there's a problem with the sound, it's not our fault, but it actually is.
Yippee! Woo! I actually did get a comment from one of my friends. They're like, oh, I just assumed that you guys got professional equipment. Were you just recording it on a Zoom call?
Oh.
I said, oh.
Okay.
I said, hey.
And that's fine.
So back down.
Right.
Try to walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, try to be me for once. Try to be me.
Anyways, first episode came out last week.
It's true.
We broke the record for the highest amount of downloads for a first episode. So thanks for that, guys.
It's true that we just had a meeting with our WKNC people. And
our team.
Our team. We just met them.
Me and my manager.
my team.
Yeah.
That's my team.
Yeah.
And they were so excited, and we have all these ideas of what we're gonna do with the podcast. We want to interview people like we mentioned last time, go out on campus with I got me a tiny microphone, so y'all stay tuned for that one.
So excited.
I was so excited, but I just want to say thank you for all of you guys that listen, and also special shout out to the man of the hour, Drew, who does our transcript, because I talked to him. He was the first one to listen to the episode because he does a transcript, and he was like, it was a doozy to transcribe, and I said, Drew, I love you, girl. I appreciate you so much.
We love Drew.
We love Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, girl. Also, I have to say, in our notes, it says Meta Mommy in parentheses.
If you're a fan of the pod.
If you're a fan of the pod, you would know. My mother made a group chat of me, Kieran, and her to text her thoughts of the podcast and to say, she just texted Meta Mommy. And I said, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah.
That made me laugh audibly.
And it made me giggle as well. It did make me giggle as well.
There was a chuckle.
Okay, so we're just gonna. This episode is called Fall Break and Campus Celebrities because we're trying to stay on track with the time of the year.
Yeah. So if you can't guess, take a gander about what this week's episode is then.
OMG, what would you think?
Based on the title.
It might be about Fall Break and Campus Celebrities.
But I don't know.
No, but you don't want to assume anything.
No, of course not. This is an accepting society.
Right. Okay, so we're starting off with just a quick, and by quick I mean not a quick, catch up about what we've been up to in the past week.
Well, fun fact about me is I just came back from Ireland yesterday.
Yeah.
In Dublin.
Oh.
Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin.
I found out that the way that you say it in Irish Gaelic is Erie or Airy. It's E with a line on it, R-I-E.
That's how you say Dublin?
No, that's how you say Ireland.
Oh, I was
in Gaelic.
Erie and Dublin don't sound anything alike.
I disagree. So let me hit the highlights of what happened while I was in Ireland, because let me tell you, it's day 2. We are on hour 48 of being in Ireland. My computer breaks.
Yeah.
Gone with the wind.
Yep.
I say okay.
In the middle of the work week as well.
Well, yeah, so let me know that it's Tuesday when this happens, and I have over 21 assignments to get done while I'm gone. Not impossible if I had a working computer, but when you're on the other side of the country, in a village that is 100 miles from the nearest Apple store,
all right,
you got to get creative. And to do so, I went to public libraries throughout Ireland. I kid you not, we park, it's pouring rain, because in Ireland it rains a lot. And so I'm running through the rain. It's my slow-mo moment, hands on the window, trying to get inside. Never saw that movie, but yes.
Oh, we're going to have to talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk. And so I get inside, and I'm like, hi, please, do you have a computer? And they're like, we don't loan computers to people. And I was like, I don't want to take it. I just, we
don't trust you, okay?
I was like, please, I'm just a poor American girl. Let me use a laptop. And so I go into this, closet space through, the child, kindergarten section of the library, and I sit down in this chair that's actually a foot off the ground, if that. I am low squatting.
Right.
And she was like, oh, just so you know, it's gonna be a little loud in there just because there's a meeting happening. And I was like, oh, no worries, I got that. And I was thinking it's a room with computers, and then there's another room nearby.
All right.
Wrong. It's one singular room. Do you want to take a guess of perhaps what is happening in the room whilst I'm there?
Well, I was going to say a meeting, since that's what you said was happening, but I don't know.
Right. But so specifically, there was a how to speak Gaelic meeting happening. And so the entire time they have a harmonica and they're harmonizing and singing Gaelic tunes.
Me.
And they were each reading passages and it's okay, you'll get it next week. And so they're like practicing because it's like a teaching school that I somehow stumbled upon.
Okay.
And so they're singing Gaelic tunes. There's a harmonica. They're drinking tea. They're like, yeah.
Wait,
in between each song. And I'm just like, they're in climate quiz 1. Like I'm trying to like do these assignments. I'm like trying to do stats and like the hypotenuse of the triangle. And they're like, Dublin. And so that
Pause. Hypotenuse of the triangle and stats. All right.
Hey.
Hey, I'm not even going to class and I know that's not in there.
I was just trying to make it funny.
Okay.
Now lay off.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm leaving. So anyhow, that really sat with me. I had to do that more than once. Fun fact, you have to you can only use computers for like a certain amount of time. So like you have a 45-minute reservation on this.
Oh,
and
that's
I was like,
not enough time for anything.
I hacked the system and got 2 hours, aka I just sat there for 2 hours and they forgot to tell me to leave. So it worked out. What else happened while I was in Ireland? Oh yes, I danced with a bunch of Irishmen at a pub.
Oh my Lord, that was my dream,
of my life.
y'all.
Now let me tell you what happened because it was like a movie. So we are for context, the legal drinking age in Ireland is 18. I am above 18, so let's all take a breath. We're bar hopping. Or like pub hopping. Oh my God. We get to this. We've hopped one time.
Wait. One hop.
We've made one hop to the second cup.
Yeah, not even just a hop.
Like across the street. By the way, I split the G on the Guinness the first time. Have you heard of that?
I have. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. For those who don't know, splitting the G means that like when you drink a Guinness for the first time, you have to take one sip, and when you like finish taking the sip, like the line of where your liquid is in the glass has to be half, like exactly in half of the Guinness logo. And so it's like a thing. And so I like didn't really necessarily want to drink Guinness for like the taste of it, but I was like, I got to do this. I did it on my first try, and a bunch of people were like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Oh, so like I'm a movie star." Like,
and of course, that's your first alcoholic drink you've ever had. So really, that's really impressive because you did it on just on one swig.
One and done.
Yeah, one and done, and you're just a natural.
Of course. Now I will note this was at like the second to last day of us being there, so I have been drinking cider the whole week.
Oh, yeah.
But outside of that, I've never touched a drop, so that was crazy.
You wouldn't, right.
That was crazy. So, anyways, so we're at this bar, or like this pub, and they have live music, and this table's like right next to where the stage is. And so they're like, but they're playing like all songs, like Brown Eyed Girl.
Okay.
Like anything in that general, like they played Sweet Caroline at one point.
You're kidding. If I'm in Ireland and I hear Brown Eyed Girl and Sweet Caroline, I'm like, okay.
Well, okay, so like it was kind of the vibe though, because they were like doing it, but like Irish. So it was like, like the fiddles and like the banjos, like the whole like.
Oh, so it was live. They were just playing a recording.
No. It was a live band.
Okay.
So like it was cool because it was like in their own style, but it was like obviously I knew like all the words.
Yeah.
And so they start playing, and I was like, I'm just gonna dance. Like I don't care. And so I get up and start dancing, and no one else comes to dance with me. And I was like, all right, that's embarrassing. So half the pub is just watching me dance on this floor. And so I sit back down. This guy comes up to me. He's like, "Do you want to dance with our group?" I said. I like threw my jacket. I was like, I'm on the way. And so I ran over and I started dancing with these Irishmen. We're all like, we like locked arms and did like square dancing, like the hop, because it was like a faster song. And then we all laugh. He starts asking me about Barack Obama because I don't even know.
Well, naturally, of course, because that's what I first think of when I'm square dancing in an Irish pub.
Casually bring up Barack Obama. So he's like, "Do you know a Barack Obama?"
Do you know? I'm actually close friends with Barack, so
we go back.
When I get home, we're getting dinner. So.
Yeah. So it was just like, and he was like, "I loved him. He was the greatest man alive." I was like,
"No, that's right.
He's still alive."
He was the greatest man alive.
It's like, you can like catch him on Twitter, like he's still there. So anyhow, but I started dancing, and then this guy, like some other guys came, and then like all of a sudden everybody started dancing in the middle, and I felt like I just like conducted a choir. Like I was like, I just like, I am her. And like somebody came up and spilled a drink down my back at one point, and then they felt bad, so they asked me to dance. But it was crazy. It was so cool.
Slay by you.
Yeah. My last point is that I tried porridge while I was there, which is basically just like European oatmeal. And I was obsessed. Like at first I was judging because like, what do you mean Goldilocks trespass for this? Like it was just like.
I feel like to me a synonym for porridge is going to be slop.
Okay. So I was going to go with soup, but.
Girl, that's not soup.
No, it's bad. But like their version is like thick and like creamy.
That's what they say about me.
Do they? Okay, yeah. Hashtag thick and creamy. Comment that on our next Instagram post if you know you know.
Okay.
But no, but it was so good. And like I had a dream one night that they told me I couldn't have porridge, and I woke up sad. And then like the porridge there is so good. Like I was like I said, me and Goldilocks, like I finally related to her. I was like, I get it. Like I would trespass for this. Like
yeah.
Like I want it just right. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Anyhow, that's my sum of Ireland. It was really cool. I met a presidential candidate. I saw a bunch of history. I went to a Jameson, like the whiskey brand.
I don't do whiskey.
Okay, well, you know what it is though. Right?
Well, I know whiskey is a thing. I don't know brands.
Okay, well, Jameson is like the #1 whiskey brand. Like,
hey, Jameson, hey girl.
Hey girl. Learned her whole history. But I went to like where they manufacture it and it like first ever started. And it was really cool. And I tried it and it was nasty. I mean, it wasn't nasty.
Nasty in a bad way.
Nasty in a bad way, if you will. It was fine. But anyways, it was just really cool. So that's my sum of Ireland. Happy to be back. Computer's still broken, but we're live, laugh, loving our way through it.
And we are.
So what's been up with you, though? What happened this past week?
Well, glad that you asked. I have a note open here. First of all, I'm just gonna read from the notes app because that's my stream of consciousness.
Of course.
Consciousness. Right. Thoughts about last week's episode.
Yeah.
I mentioned I failed a class over the summer. Looked at my transcript. Didn't fail the class. Actually passed the class. So
celebrate good times.
Somebody was looking out for me on that one. They really were. Second, we did have a Rita's in Wilmington. That frozen ice thing you're talking about.
Yes, of course. I did see that text that someone was like, Julie used to go all the time to Rita's.
And I said, hey, I still don't know Rita, girl. Rita and Jew, we don't know each other, okay?
We're going to introduce y'all.
Well, yeah, and we should.
There'll be a contact point.
Okay, and here's my other thing. It didn't clock to me, if you will, that people were actually going to listen to this because people, and by people I mean my best friends and my family, were texting me, like, referencing things that I talked about in the podcast.
Me too.
And, like, it is just mind-blowing to me that people know that we exist and like actually listen to what we say. Like right now, we're talking right now and people are going to be listening to this and they're going to be like, wow, I can't believe you thought that. Like, I don't know.
I relate so hard. This is my favorite podcast ever.
Right,
like, this is crazy.
And in the same vein of like, oh, people like notice me is I would like to say shout out to my loyal story likers on all my accounts because I have quite a few. Mm-hmm. And I want to give a specific shout out. I am going to name a name here because this is important to me.
We're getting deep.
Yeah. And this, I feel like you're not going to find this surprising.
No.
Abdullah.
What a guy.
What a guy. He is so cool. Abdullah, if you listen to this, thank you for liking all my stories. I appreciate it. And it just makes me so happy. And like you supporting the podcast is so cool because like you like inspired the podcast because you are a podcaster.
Yeah.
Like anyway, so slay. Okay. Another thought that I had in the past week, actually I had this one last night, is I saw a thing that said the equivalent of a forehead kiss, like for a woman, like when a man kisses you on the forehead, or when your significant other kisses you on the forehead.
Sure.
The equivalent of that for a man is being brought homemade banana bread.
I saw that, and I'm needing to test that theory. So I need all the men in my life, all like 4 of them. I need you guys to let me know that if I brought you banana bread, like what? Where are we at in life?
And I have something to say on this.
Please.
Before I saw this, okay,
right?
This person, I brought this person banana bread, a man over the summer.
Sure.
I feel like we can tell which one it is.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Unlocked.
Brought banana bread. Now I didn't mean it to be a thing like that. But if that's
it's their Roman Empire.
It's his Roman Empire. Maybe it's not. I don't want to assume, but I just saw that and I said, wow, like let me think about that. Okay.
Processing.
Next, I need to talk about things I've cried over this week.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I used to never cry, but these days I be crying all the time.
You're tapped in with yourself, and that's a beautiful thing.
I'm an empath.
That's just so hard being you.
No, and it really is. Okay, first of all, I saw a couple with a wiener dog, and they were so cute, and the man bent down to talk to the wiener dog because the wiener dog was barking, and he was like comforting it, and I cried. I
would have lost it.
Right. Then I cried because the weather was beautiful. Fall.
Yeah.
She's my sister. I missed her.
All the leaves are brown.
Right.
And the skies are gray.
I know that's right. I saw a kid at the bus stop.
Right.
And he looked stressed, and he was all alone, and that made me sad.
That sat with you.
Yeah, it really did. Oh my God, the choir at church on Sunday. One of my friends he was playing the drums with the choir,
percussion.
and I know it was so cute, and they were all having so much fun, and that is what made me cry. Is they're all so happy. Like
aww.
I love that. Okay, that one picture of Rotten, you know the one where she's laying and she's like very symmetrical.
Yeah.
Rotten, I mentioned her last week. If you're a real fan, you would know. That's my cat that we're both obsessed with.
Yes.
We will be posting pictures of her on Instagram because that's my girl.
Right.
Then I cried because it was family weekend.
Yeah.
And there were so many families, and I thought that was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Aww.
Like all the grandparents. Oh my God. Yeah. Then I watched Me Before You.
Ooh.
Have you watched that?
I have.
Oh my
I saw
Lord.
your story about that. That made me Google.
Because I was on FaceTime with Frank when I watched it.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, girl. Frank's my best friend from home. So I watched Me Before You. I had read the book, so I was like, oh, I am strong enough to watch this and not lose my mind.
Know, like you're good.
Right, I know it's going to happen. Watched it, sobbed. Like that. There's one picture of me with like spit coming out of my mouth because I'm sobbing so hard. Yeah, I'm just trying to be vulnerable here. That really got to me.
No, I'm feeling closer to you now.
Thank you. Also, a little thing that I would like to just put out here is, when you notice one of your friends is just like a little bit off.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But I mean it in the way that like, give them a little extra love. Take a second, because it's, especially here at school, it's the point in the semester where things are weighing on you. Yeah, like
we're in the thick of it right now.
Into the thick of it. We are in the thick of it. Okay. Right. I just want to say, I think it's important to
check in
and let people know that they're loved and known and seen, because sometimes you don't feel that way when you're at school. You feel very lonely, and that is not how it should be. In connection with that, I recently was inspired to start writing notes to people. Yeah. I think that is the cutest thing ever. Like, I keep every note every card.
Too. Yeah. I have every single one that I've gotten since I was like in elementary school in a box in my room.
I love a pen pal. Yeah, that's that on that. Please love your friends.
That sits with me. I love my friends, and I love telling them how much I love them, because like I'm such like, we were talking about this earlier, that like devoting yourself to people, like I'm such an independent person on my own, but like because of that I devote myself 100% to all of my friends and like the people in my life. And so like all the people in my life, I love you. You're my favorite people ever. Like please reach out. Like I enjoy and cherish every single friendship I have.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why am I here if not to love people?
Exactly.
Like that is all that I'm here for. Well, that's not true. But wow. No, I would say in general my mission in life,
like a 30%.
I would even say maybe higher than that. But my last thought before we actually get into what we're going to talk about today,
right?
Because we're already
the actual content.
We're actually already like going over the time that we allotted to this. Right. Is I have been in a discussion about fantasy football recently.
Oh.
I don't participate, obviously, because I don't know a single thing about
but we
fantasy
check the rosters.
Oh, and I know that's right. I know that's right.
Guys, men's basketball starts in like 4 weeks.
Anyway, what I was going to say is about these leagues of fantasy football, especially when you get into one and it's all men. And you say, hey, because I
like the team or the league?
The league is all men. Well, because the football is going to be all men.
Right. So then I was like, why are we?
Right. No, but I'm saying in a league of fantasy football, you ask a man, oh, like what happens if you lose? And he says the most outlandish punishment you have ever heard of. I know this guy. Mm-hmm. And last year he lost, which is like, okay, girl, lock in. But me when I would most definitely lose.
Pick a better player, like
do better.
Like I don't.
No. I would lose. Yeah. But his like punishment was to wear a Speedo and run a mile in his neighborhood.
Oh my God.
And I said, okay, so I just wouldn't do that. I would say
no.
Hey, no.
I had a friend whose league's punishment, I think I've seen this one on TikTok before, but it was like they had to sit in a Waffle House and they had to eat a waffle, like they had to eat 24 waffles before they could leave. Like a waffle every hour.
Easy. I'm not even joking. I could do that so quick.
Yeah, and every waffle you eat like takes off an hour, but you have to eat 24 waffles.
Oh, I'd be there for now, like 3 hours tops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're crushing 8 waffles an hour?
Oh, easy. Easy.
Now, I want to test this theory.
Okay, anytime. You pay for the waffles. I'm down.
Well, maybe let's not test that theory.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought.
Oh, wow, back down. You know what? Meet me at the Waffle House. Meet me outside. How about that?
Okay. Now, since we're over time
to transition into the actual content.
Let's segue. And by segue, I mean, let's go to the next thing. We're going to talk about fall break. And that's going to be because fall break is in about 4 days.
From when we're filming this. I also had someone comment on the fact that our referencing to the time that we were talking about was incorrect from when the podcast came out. Hey, babe, we don't film and produce on the same day.
Right. This isn't live, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be.
It could be. Hey,
speaking
let us know.
of live, we now have a spot on the WKNC 88.1 radio station on HD1 and HD2. So HD1, check us out at 11 a.m. every Friday. Last week's episode, Wolfpack Welcome Week, will be airing this week, and then next week will be this week's episode, and then so forth, so on.
Okay.
Get pumped, guys.
I'm excited. Like, that is so cool to me.
That's so cool.
Okay, fall break.
Yeah.
This is not the main thing.
Right.
An important thing, I think, to talk about for fall break, especially when it's your first fall break, like if you're a freshman or you're like new to like living anywhere other than home,
right,
is it's a weird feeling to be at school and be like, oh, this is so new, I don't feel at home here. But then you return to your actual home, like where you lived before you got to school, and it also doesn't feel like home because you're like, oh, like so much has happened since I left. Like they do things without me. Like I don't feel
connected like you once were.
Right, because things change, dynamics change. So then you feel like you're just floating in like the liminal space between, is school my home or is home my home? I have no home, I have no friends, I have no family. Like,
and then you spiral, and then your life's over.
And you do.
It feels definitely like I feel like I'm just visiting. Like when I go to my parents' house, I'm visiting, but then when I go back to my dorm, it's like, well, I'm only gonna be here for a few months, so like I'm just visiting. Like my dad actually asked me last year. He was like, "What do you call home? Like, what do you verbally, like, what do you physically call like your home?" And I was like, I guess my dorm. I think that for me, like where I'm living at the time is home, but my parents will always be my house. Like where I was before college is house, but where I am is home. If that makes sense.
Okay, I've thought about this a lot actually, and I love to ponder things, so I
love a good thought.
I love a good thought. Which is surprising, I know, guys. Like, I'm sure you're so shocked about that.
That we like to think and talk. Right. Weird. We should start a podcast.
That is a great idea. Let's look into that. Let's look into that.
We'll touch base.
We will.
Putting a pin in that.
We're putting a pin in that.
Putting a pin.
What I think is that for me, words hold a lot of power. So the way that I talk about something makes it that way. Mm-hmm. So this whole time I've been like school isn't home. Like it's school. It's a separate thing than home. Like literally for a year and a half since I've been at state, I've been like, oh, like it's like, you know, it's like
just a section of your life.
Right. Like I'm just living here. I'm going to have to move out. Like let me not get too comfortable. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, this year, this feels like my home. Yeah. I have such a life here. My friends are here. This is like my chosen family is here.
Yeah.
And it took, a year and a half worth of work to get to this point.
But you got there.
But I did get there, and it was a hard journey, I'll tell you that. But I love it here, and I think that this is my home. And I think that I can have this be my home, and my home in Wilmington is also my home. Like those two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that is important to note. Like the way that like the dynamics change, like when you see your family again or when you see your home friends again. But that doesn't mean that like your relationship with them is any different. Like,
no, of course not.
Maybe the way you communicate is different because you're going to have a lot more FaceTimes and phone calls, but you're still
you're still part of each other's lives.
Right. You still love each other and like you still spend time with each other, and the time that you spend is even more precious when you don't like live together. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think it's important to think about these things and like realize that like everybody feels a little bit weird the first time they go back home.
Yeah, I think for me it was weird too because like I kind of mentioned, I grew up like 15, 20 minutes from state. Mm-hmm. And obviously now that I live here, I still obviously live like 15, 20 minutes away. So it's like when my first year, like it was a lot of like back and forth because it was like, do I go home? Do I not? Do I stay here? Like I could go home anytime I want, like on a random Wednesday or like, and sometimes I would text my parents and I was like, you have to come get me. Like I just need to come home. Yeah. And like other times I was like, I'm not coming home. Like it's just because it's fall. Like it was just, but it's definitely hard because it's like I want to balance and I want to develop who I am as a person, but at the same time, like I'll always fall back on my parents and like my family at home.
Yeah.
And it was definitely hard, especially when I was like that first semester when I was still adjusting to like trying to meet people here and have that family here. When you don't have it here, you just want to resort back to what you had before.
Right.
But it almost makes it worse because then you come back and then you're like, oh,
I missed valuable time of spending it with. Like, I feel like that is especially true on like holidays.
Yes.
And like for example, my family, and by my family I mean me, my mom, and my sibling, go to the state fair every year. Which we're gonna be talking about that next episode. But
what?
Right. So we like do these specific activities every year that like are like little like road trips we go on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like last year I was like, oh, like I don't have any friends at school. Like I'm so excited to hang out with my mom. My best friend is my mom. But like, what a blessing. So I was so excited to like hang out with my family because I'm like, oh, I have no friends. But then I would see like people go to like the fair with their friends, and I'm like, oh, like
it's a thing.
It's a thing. Like, and that's how you like actually make friends. You know, like actually to do something.
Things, yeah.
So like this year, guess who might be going to the fair?
Who?
You, Kieran.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I went to the fair for like the first time last year, and I went with two of my friends. They were actually roommates with each other. And it was amazing. Like, I really enjoyed the experience. One thing about me is I love a fried Oreo.
Oh, I know,
I
that's
have
right.
deep connections to fried Oreos. Me and like my best friend, since kindergarten, we would make fried Oreos every now and then.
Oh.
And it was just like a random Wednesday. We were like, do you want to make fried Oreos? And I was like, I'm coming over. Like, I'm on the way.
I'm actually in your house right now.
Yeah, I'm actually there. Because you just like, she had like a fryer, or you obviously could just do it in oil, but you just dip it in like pancake batter. It was so good. Like, I have taken down some fried Oreos in my day.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it was really cool. I was like not nervous to go for the first time, but I was just like, what am I gonna? Am I gonna hate this? Like, it's just people and money and like noise. But I actually really enjoyed it.
Isn't that life?
Isn't that special? Something.
Isn't that something?
You miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, I know that's right.
The
next bullet point that we have here is one that I added: hometown hookups to
Right.
do or not to do.
Yeah, the old time debate.
And it is. Okay. So
Sure.
a lot of people when you're you know, a senior in high school, you graduate, you're going off to college, you had like a significant other in high school, you break up with them, or you have somebody like a summer fling that you break up with before you go off to school. She's like,
Right.
oh, like we're gonna be different places, like I'm gonna meet all these different people, and I just like can't sustain a relationship right now, like I don't know if I can stay with one person, blah blah blah. And then you get to school and you've been here for a month and a half and it's time to go back home and you're like, wow, I'm so lonely. I haven't gone on a single date since I got here. I'm so bored. You know what? You know who's going to be in my hometown?
The same people from high school.
That's going to be my ex. And so then the temptation of, hey, let me text someone. Hey, let me see what they're up to becomes a very real, tangible thing.
Yeah.
And, okay,
Sure.
I fall victim to it too, okay? And I would have to say it is acceptable in some situations. I'm just saying don't get stuck in that just because you're like, I'm so lonely.
I need someone.
Right. If you have genuinely missed someone or you're like, I've been thinking about you, like when I come home, it wouldn't be right to be home and not see you because I like want this to continue in the future, then maybe reach out. But, like, if we're just like, oh, I'm so lonely and guess who's going to be at home and
Like,
none of my friends are
in town, yeah.
Right, and let me look at Snap Maps, which, hey, I don't have Snapchat, but let me look at this map and see who's going to be in town. I deleted it because I didn't have enough storage on my phone for all the pictures I was taking. Anyway, yeah, I'm just saying this is another thing to think critically about. Like, how you think critically about, should I go out this weekend? This is another one. Like, just think about the effect that this will have after fall break.
Right.
On you and the other person, okay? Let's just take a second, okay?
Really let it sit with yourself.
Yes, and yes. But yeah, it is okay if in some situations if we're thinking critically and we're being adults and we're communicating. But sometimes when you're a freshman, you're not an adult, and I think it's important to realize that. Okay.
Yeah. My big thing for fall break is to just like take the time to enjoy it and like reset.
Yes.
Like for fall break.
Break is the important word.
Break is the important word. Like for fall break this week, I'm literally staying in my apartment. I'm not going anywhere. Like I have plans to see a couple of my friends on Sunday. I have plans to see one of my friends on Saturday. We're gonna watch SNL.
Yep.
I'm a big SNL fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like gonna do some laundry. Gonna like take out the trash, and I'm gonna lay in my bed and look at the ceiling and appreciate the fact that I'm doing that.
I like that. I have a couple plans. I'm getting a haircut.
Oh, wow.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm seeing a few people.
Yes.
I am getting another tattoo.
So excited.
I am so excited, guys. Stay tuned. We'll not be posting that on the podcast Instagram, but
if you follow us on our personal accounts that are linked in the description of our...
you might see a little picture of the tattoo.
Oh.
Also, my dad listens to this. So, Dad, I'm getting another tattoo. Moving
Surprise.
on. Yeah, as we said, it's important to take a break. Take a break, take a nap.
Really resurface.
Really resurface. Me when I resurface. Me when I'm oil.
Me when I come up for air. I'm a beluga whale.
Oh, that is low-key what it feels like to go on break after you've been on the grind at school. I'm like resurfacing for like a breath of fresh air. Like let me get some sunlight. Let me photosynthesize. Like best believe I'm hitting the beach when I get home. Okay.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
I'm running out there. Gonna be freezing in the water. I can tell you that
of course.
already. But I'm running out there right in that water.
Well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note,
I thought you were gonna say something. You look like you're gonna say something.
I was going to, and then I lost it completely. It was a fleeting
thought. Lot, doesn't it?
Oh wow. Okay. Are you done?
Probably not.
Okay, so campus celebrities.
Yes.
I personally am very excited to talk about this because I have so many things that I've been waiting for over a week now to talk about. And the first of which is this man who we see on campus, and I just want to paint a picture for you. Take a walk with me, if you will, even though you
take a walk.
Take a walk. You'll get the joke in a second. So picture this. You're sitting in Tally doing your work. All of a sudden, walking by you is a man. I would say like about 6 foot.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
He's
probably like early 40s, maybe late 30s. Bald. Not shaved, bald. Sparkling.
In a good way, though.
In a good way.
He's eating.
He's eating down. Wearing Bluetooth headphones, a white button-up shirt with a white t-shirt underneath, khaki pants that are like a little bit too high with the belt.
But in kind of like a vintage way.
Yeah, it's giving like vintage. I don't
like there's like hints of like, oh, he's like kind of like giving like sleigh. Yeah.
It's like almost like man in a mystery movie who wears a trench coat, but like take out the trench coat and the hat. Yeah.
But he does have a
But let me tell you about
a trademark.
Going down, below on his feet are individual toe shoes.
Going down below on his feet.
I panicked. I just started saying words and I was like, I don't know where I'm at.
Speak your truth.
But on his feet are individual toe shoes. So he's like,
wait, that makes it sound like there's a shoe on each toe.
No,
no.
Like spray on shoes. But for each toe. No,
like, my god!
Like the water shoes, but there's like, I mean, like you've seen it, but like the individual, like the shoes where they have like divides in between each toe.
Like if he was wearing gloves, but they're on his feet,
exactly.
And they're hard. They're like rubber.
They're rubber, and they're like can traverse the terrain. Like he is prepared for any environment, but he just takes laps in the same outfit every single. I see him every single day in Tally because I always sit in Tally before my class. I see him every single day in the same outfit, in the same shoes. Like, I think he literally bought like 5 pairs of the same shirt, pants, and just like wears them every day.
Because they're always clean and crisp. Like every day he wakes up and he says, I'm going to serve today, and he does.
And he does. And I need to meet him. And at some point by the end of this podcast in my life, I will be able to put a name to that man. And I don't know who it is. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know his background. I don't know why he's here. But apparently it's to get his steps in.
Well, to me, he gives kind of like Eric. Like he gives like his name would be Eric.
I was thinking Robert.
I can see that as well.
Or like a Craig.
Ooh.
Clyde.
Clyde? I don't know that I've ever met a Clyde in real life.
You've never met a Clyde.
Okay.
I haven't either. I just know the name exists.
Maybe we will in the future.
Maybe
his
name
is Clyde.
Maybe his name is Clyde.
Any
Clyde, let us know.
Any Clyde. Okay. The first person that I thought of, there are multiple.
Yes.
I have so many campus celebrities. I gotta be honest.
Like I can't even.
Like if you wear if you have a specific like outfit aesthetic, you're a celebrity to me. Like if I see you like, I was gonna name another name, but I'm not going to. A certain person that slayed so hard with the outfits, I would see him all the time on campus, and I would be like, oh wow, you are
him.
So cool. You are him.
Yeah.
Like you genuinely are him. I could never be you. I want to be you though. That's my campus celebrity vibe. But the person that I first thought of is this kid so I used to eat like a lot of meals in Fountain, the dining hall, obviously because I'm an NC State student, so obviously.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
Right. And I used to sit at the same table every single day in the corner. I'd sit in the corner so I could face like the whole like the open dining area so I could watch people, obviously, because I'm a creep. And
I'm a creep. belong here.
We're actually DJs, guys. We don't do podcasts. We're actually
We
DJ.
actually are DJs. We got a new
my
DJ
God.
name recently.
Well, you guys got to guess what our DJ names are, okay? You just let us know what you think it is.
You'll never guess it.
It's so obvious. Anyway, this kid would sit at the same table, like right next to me every single day. And then I never told you this, but come to find out, he lived in my building last year because there was a fire. There was like a fire alarm thing in the middle of the night. Which, hey, who is setting off that dang fire alarm at 2 a.m.? I have been asleep for 5 hours at that time.
I'm trying to get my full 8.
Yeah,
we are partway through REM.
We are, and you just disrupted my sleep. Anyway, he was in the elevator with me, and I said, "Oh, hey, girl."
You took the elevator down during a fire alarm?
No, up. I took it up because I lived on the 8th floor.
Okay. Well, respectable.
This is a safe space.
No, I was just saying that.
We need that reminder.
The number one thing they say when there's a fire is
no,
don't
I didn't take it
elevator
down. Okay. Anyway, I love that kid. I had not seen him. I never talked to him. Ate a meal with him every single day for an entire year. Never talked to him. I hope he knows I exist. Because that would be really sad to me.
Yeah.
But I actually did see him the other day walking. I those stairs that get us out of breath every Tuesday, Thursday.
Right.
Out of the tunnel. Yeah. He was walking down as I was walking up, and I wanted to be like, oh my God. But he definitely
Fountain!
Right. He would be like, who's this wacko?
Okay.
Yeah.
Which what makes me want to talk about the people with the meals at the dining hall.
Oh my Lord.
This makes me, which by the way, if you haven't caught on now, we're not actually talking about celebrities. We're talking about just infamous characters in our lives.
Oh, well, yeah.
But my main celebrity, my A-listers are the people at the dining hall. Let me paint some pictures for you. Picture number 1, you walk up to the gallery.
Okay.
I present to you 8:30 a.m. Soft serve and pumpkin pie for breakfast.
Well, my question is, how are we getting to the dining hall at 8:30 in the morning?
Okay, I'm at 9. Whatever.
Okay.
You get the point. But it's we're right at opening.
Yeah.
Pumpkin pie and soft serve ice cream.
That's a freshman right there.
At 9 a.m.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. And I really, because it wasn't even just a little sliver. It wasn't just let me treat myself. It's been a morning. It was it was.
This is my meal.
This was breakfast.
Yeah.
This was plate. This was meal. This was dish. Which.
Wow.
The second one, which is probably my main attraction to the gallery, was sitting to get dinner with my roommate, and we're sitting, and I look around. I take a gander,
right,
to see this man with a salad and a chocolate milk.
Okay,
that was dinner. That was fork and knife.
Yep.
Salad and chocolate milk.
Okay.
And that makes me laugh because I'm pretty sure the salad was just lettuce and cheese. It wasn't even an actual
me when my salad is cheese. And chocolate milk is my drink of choice.
Right? I was just I love going to the dining hall and just observing, because I've seen people who have 3 pieces of pizza, rice, a cheeseburger, and salad all on the same plate, and then they also went and got soft serve 7 cookies and a glass of apple juice.
Well, and then in the same vein, I feel like I've said that 5 times tonight, but
that vein is gonna burst by the end of this.
She's big.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Sure.
Are the I'm gonna say it is generally gonna be a man, a gym bro, who is gonna go ahead and have 5 chicken breasts piled on his plate.
Yes.
And there's not a lick of seasoning on there.
No.
And nothing else. Just gonna be 5 chicken breasts. And he sits down. The first time I ever went to the dining hall, I was with Mia and Jackson and my roommate of the time, and we sit next to this kid. Shout out to this kid. Pretty sure his name is Davis.
Oh, okay.
I only talked to him the one time, first day here. He had just meat on his plate, and I said, "Okay, have you
carnivore
before? Are we
craving?
Before?
Right, have we eaten before? Is this first meal?
Is this congratulations, girl!
Trying solids for the first time.
Oh, baby's first food.
I have seen that, and it what gets me is they sit there with their headphones and they're post-workout shirt or whatever, so you can tell they just got a rep in, and then they're fork and knifing this chicken breast that's was boiled in a bag and sprinkled with air seasoning at the dining hall.
They look a little miserable too, and I'm like, sister, you're doing it to yourself.
No, and my favorite part about a man cutting something is their elbow is always ridiculously high.
And they're really going at it. They got that thing is moving.
that thing is moving.
That thing is
covering some ground. They are sawing, hacking that tree down like timber. It is crazy and it makes me laugh.
Wait, while we're talking about the gym bros eating, the same person that I brought banana bread to that one time, I would say, oh, what are you going to eat for like your meals? This young gentleman is eating rice and ground beef for every meal.
Oh.
And I said, oh, sister, what are we doing?
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy on your sweet soul, girl. What are we doing? We do not have to do that. We are in complete control, sister. I don't know why they choose to do that.
No one is making you do that. Ground beef is low-key an enemy. Like,
well, I'm a vegetarian, so genuinely it is. Wow. But like in your case, let's hear it out. What do you have to say?
No, because like if ground beef has one fan, like it's itself. Like if ground beef has 0 fans, it's because I'm alive. Like it's just like, do you know what I'm saying? Like
I do. I'm seeing the vision.
Are you walking the path with me?
I'm walking with you.
I can't. Like okay, well maybe just because it hurts my stomach, and so maybe I just
your tummy hurts.
Stop. I can't help it. Okay. It just. Got a rumble in my tumble. Like, it doesn't, I don't like it. But I feel like it's also just greasy and, like,
no,
like, it's just, but also, like, shout out the cows in the world. Like, they're doing great things.
Hey, girl.
But anyhow, all I've had to say is, like, I just like people watching, and in the dining hall, there are so many times that I've been like, what am I looking at? And, like, those kids who get, like, the 7 slices of everything, they eat it.
7 slices of everything. Oh,
like,
my God.
Like, they eat it, and I, like, sit there, and I just, like, I
do.
watch the plate empty, and then they go back for seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, all right, guys, what's for dessert? I'm like, I don't know, maybe a nap. Like,
you're a warrior.
Maybe an insulin shot for dessert.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, speaking of dining hall, one of the things written down on our list of things to talk about, by the way, we're at 41 minutes, just so you know.
That's crazy.
We do be talking.
Weird.
What is written down here is Julia's experience while reading 50 Shades of Grey. Now, this is an interesting headline. You would say, yeah.
I'm, like, perplexed.
Right.
I would love to know what that headline might be alluding to.
And I would love to tell you.
Oh,
okay?
Perfect.
So picture this.
Picturing.
I love an audiobook, okay?
Okay, yeah.
And
ebook.
Right. Thank you. I got my headphones on. I'm walking around campus.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting a little listen.
Right. Yeah. I listen to a wide variety of things.
Okay.
And at the time of this story happening, I was listening to my Christian audiobook, 50 Shades of Grey. Now,
super holy,
super Christian. And I would hope that you guys know what 50 Shades of Grey is. If you don't,
that's for you to look up.
Right. That's not for me to tell you. But I was listening to this book. I said, oh, this is tea. This is tea, girl. So I'm in the dining hall. I'm in Fountain. I'm sitting at the same table I always sit at with my headphones on.
In your corner.
In my corner. I'm eating my acceptable plate of food.
Of course.
Not 7 slices of everything. I'm eating a little bit of this, a little bit of that, having some cantaloupe, as we said last week.
Dabble.
A little.
God forbid we put any produce ever.
Right. God forbid
hall.
There's a vegetable on my plate.
God forbid there is a blueberry. Like,
I don't think I've ever eaten a blueberry from the dining hall.
I don't think there's ever been one.
And that's true. Continuing on, I'm sitting there happily eating my food, listening to my audiobook. I feel like if you look me in the eyes, you can clearly tell I'm zoned out. I'm clocked on my audiobook, okay? Then somebody says, oh, hey. And I said, hello? I look up. 2 people are standing there with plates of food, and they're like, can we join you? And I said, oh, like, sure. Because I thought that meant, we're going to sit at the end of the table, like, because there's nowhere else to sit.
Yeah.
Picture this. There's like maybe 10 people in the dining hall at this time.
Oh.
I say, okay, so why are you going to be sitting with me?
Right here.
Because I actually love to be alone.
Yeah.
And if my headphones are on, I'm not trying to talk to you.
No, I never once have I had my headphones on and also wanted to socialize at the same time.
Right, which is like, I'm not wearing my headphones often. Like, if you want to talk, I'm ready to talk.
POV, we're socializing with each other with headphones on right now.
We're talking through microphones and hearing each other in headphones. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I like to hear my own voice. Okay, sorry.
Oh wow.
But so I'm listening to this audiobook, and they say, "Hey, can we sit with you?" And I said, "Sure, girl, sit down." It's a girl and what I assumed to be her boyfriend. Come to find out, it was not.
Oh.
They sit down and they're like, "So, like, what's your name? Like, what's your major?" Like, and I hit him with at the time I was a finance concentration,
right?
And I didn't have any minors. Oh, how the turntables these days.
How times have changed.
How times have changed. About to add another minor, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so they sit down and we're like chatting. I'm like, oh, I think I know where this is going.
Uh-oh.
And they apparently they thought they were saving me from a lunch of loneliness. However, I was very happy. They said, are you like connected with a church on campus? And I say, Well, girl, now that you ask, I am. Thank you for asking. I really am. And this is a true statement, people. I am. But they're the people that are part of a group we call the ministry hagglers, and there are quite a few of them.
Yes.
And they'll come up to you when you're doing something, you got your headphones on, and you're doing something, and they still hit you with the, would you like to come to our Bible study tonight? No. And I'm like, girl, that is not enough warning. First of all, Google Calendar's full for at least a month.
Booked and busy for
at least a month. Mm-hmm. I got my headphones on. I'm part of a church, and if I'm not, don't be coming up to me when I'm doing something and ask if I want to come.
No scenario in which a stranger walks up to me and says, do you want to come to this thing tonight? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Do you want to come and get in this white van with me? I'll give you a piece of candy.
Girl, I'm in. Like, I'm already in the van. Meet me in the, like, I'm driving. Like, where are we heading to?
Right. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me take my headphones off, take them off, pause the book, because honestly, I'm not going to miss the plot of 50 Shades of Grey.
You need to know what happens in grave detail.
Right. So then we're chatting. I'm not even exaggerating. For an hour, they were talking. Let me emphasize this. A full
circle around the clock.
Oh, yeah. And I had finished my meal by this time. Like, I had finished in like 20 minutes, and they were still talking.
We're about to prep for the next one.
Right. And I had places to be. And they were hitting me with the, like, oh, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, well, I'm planning to go to seminary. And they're like, oh, like, so, like, you read the Bible and stuff. And I was like, so you sound surprised. Okay, right. Like, that's interesting. And I was telling them, like, the church that I come from, they did not agree with the views of my church. Hey, to each their own, but, you know.
Right.
And then they were like, let me pray for you. And I was like, okay, if that makes you happy, sister, hit it. So they're praying. We all open our eyes after the prayer's over. Amen. And this young gentleman says, now, while we were praying, I got a vision. And I said, oh, you got a vision? The Lord gave you a vision, sister.
I forgot about this point.
The Lord gave you a vision. I said, hit me with it, girl. And he said, I was picturing you in, you know those prisms? You know those prisms where you shine a light through and there's a rainbow coming out the other side? And I said, now that sounds a little bit like you're assuming a little something about me. And he said, I pictured you in a prism. The Lord sent me that vision of you in a prism and there's a light shining through you. And there was just a rainbow coming out the other side. And I said, now wait a dang minute. What are you saying about me here, sister? And he was like, I'm picturing you are reaching the trans community. And I said, and by that, what do you mean? Do you mean I'm saying, hey, girl? Or do you mean I'm saying, y'all need to join my church? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm in a prism reaching the trans community. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't think you understand where I'm coming from, sister, because that's my team right there, okay? I don't know what we're talking about. So then I'm like, oh, I got to get to work. Like, this is great. And they're like,
gotta run.
Right. And they're like, let me get your number. And I said, oh, I actually
don't have a phone. I've never had a phone before.
I'm actively listening to an audiobook on my phone. Oh, I don't have a phone. I'm sorry. Like, this is my friend's. Like, it's not mine.
It's fake.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, like, let me give you, like, my campus minister's number. Yeah, like, you can text her. Yeah, like, it's fine. Yeah. So I give them her number, like, okay, bye, guys. And I, like, run out of there. And they're like, oh, we'll see you around. These people were not students at this school. They just go to the dining hall on Thursday afternoons to catch students who are alone and prey on their loneliness.
Oh, my gosh.
And that is just...
And apparently reached the trans community.
And apparently reached the trans community through me in a prism. And I said, okay, that's an interesting take. But that's a moral of the story. Watch out for the ministry hagglers that are trying to prey on you, because you can they can approach you in a respectful way, and you can find your way to a church in a natural way. You don't need somebody to come up.
And if that's what you desire.
If that is what you want. If you do not want that, then they should not come up to you and bother you while your headphones are on and you're eating lunch, listening to your Christian audiobook.
Very conversationally educational content.
Right. I'm trying to educate myself. I'm in college. Let me listen to 50 Shades of Grey because I need to know these things.
This is prime listening hour. I don't think you need to know those things.
Hey.
Now what things?
Hey. And I want you to know.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish 50 Shades of Grey. I put it down. I said I'm not opening this again.
Because of them?
I don't know.
Just at some point it was put down.
Maybe I was like, I need to get into this prism thing. I need to explore this a little further.
You need to get some light shining.
I do. The Lord was calling me to the prism, y'all. Okay. We've been rambling. I really just needed to share that story with you.
No, that was so funny. Campus celebrities, they're what keep me going. It's just guess who I saw today? It is like even the people in my class, like one of my friends and we had this kid in our class who was a proud speaker, loved to have a comment. Yeah. He like buddied up with the professor and they would like walk to class together, which I was like, okay. And actually, let me tell you a story very quickly. So this was in my social deviance class.
Okay, yeah.
And so we were talking about like all, obviously, like the different deviances in like society.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're talking about something. And then he goes, oh, I'm not going to say his actual name, but he's like, oh, and then there's so-and-so with a porn addiction. And he just like watches porn apparently all the time. And that's socially deviant, wouldn't you say?
Wouldn't you say?
And we were like,
all right. Oh, so we're outing each other.
And so the kid was like, I mean, yeah, like I'm comfortable to talk about it. We were like, what is going on? What is going on?
That is actually ludicrous. There are some people that are not afraid to say something in class, and I like if you have no shame, I kind of look up to you in a little bit of way. I find you annoying, but I'm kind of amazed by you.
Yeah.
And what I have to say about campus celebrities is like when I see one on campus, I'm like, ooh, like that's a little shot of energy. Like that's like that's right. That me seeing a campus celebrity is the equivalent of me shotgunning a monster and then squishing it on the ground underneath my foot. Like that
me
is
and
like
my frat boy life.
Right, that like keeps me going. I'm like, oh my God, I just saw the guy that lived on the 5th floor of my building last year. I don't know his name, but yeah, like that gives me life genuinely.
I'm filled with joy.
I am filled with joy.
Restored.
And I think
you know what else restores me? Is making sure that you're following us on our Instagram account, which is
getting more followers on our Instagram account restores me.
Our Instagram is at TWTSpod. You can follow our main account, and then each of our individual accounts are linked there as well, so make sure to follow us there.
Give us a follow,
Send us any questions that you may have or anything that you want us to talk about or even just reactions to the pod. We want to hear what you want to talk about because we're here to tell you the truth.
Because they don't always get it right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.